Hello, everybody. My name is Long, and it's my honor today, my friend, to go with all of you get into our first video about CT, computed tomography. So I hope you're ready because I think this is a long journey. But don't worry if you're not, because I promise I'll be by your side all the way down. So fair enough. Let's go. It's lecture 1, Basic Principles of CT. Well, just like every milestone of humankind, for new machines, new theories, or some revolutionary ideas, those were inspired by the limitations of the former problems that we want so badly to solve. So it was the same for CT. It was created to overcome two main drawbacks that I mentioned here of the conventional radiographs. So let's take a look for some backgrounds. First of all, we need to understand what is conventional radiographs and how it works. Uh, okay, okay. For traditional radiography back to before 1970s, an X-ray beam is generated and passed through a patient by only one angle. Just remember it, by only one angle. Then the remaining X-ray beam, after interacting with our body, meets the film so-called the radiation detector, and that's how the image was created. There are two kinds of X-ray devices. The first one is the mobile X-ray device, which is movable, and the second one is fixed X-ray device, on the other hand, which is immovable. And from this point, it's not too hard for us to realize that the images from old X-ray system inevitably face these two problems. The first limitation is oh, the superimposing of overlying tissues, because one angle, one only angle, was viewed before the creation of the image. And the second limitation is the inability to distinguish two tissues whose density is quite the same. Or sometimes you can see the term two density similar tissues. Well, that's the reason why traditional X-ray protocol works best that the body part doesn't have too many organs. Like it's okay when we want to take a picture of our bones for the spine or for the pelvis. But sometimes, maybe usually, you can see the images of our lung or thoracic area. Well, that's all. That's all a drawback of the conventional radiographs. And now here came the CT, the milestone of DI area that surpass all of the drawback that I just mentioned. Well, let me show you. In short, the X-ray, in short, the computed tomography CT has the narrow X-ray beam rotates around the body. So this means every single view of our body sections are scanned, and this leads to the elimination of superimposed structure. Well, you can see the brain images right here, which is a good demonstration of what I just told you. Our CT, our CT divides our brain into slices, and that's the reason why we can so easily see the structure of our brain, because we see it slice by slice. And it also helps us to easily recognize the abnormal size of our brain. Yeah, because we can look into details of it. And the second benefit that CT brings to human is the ability to differentiate small differences between tissue densities. Well, you can see right here, the images of patient body. Yeah, yeah, and the image quality. Sometimes I can call in short the IQ. The IQ of city image is now completely outstanding compared to previous one here of this slide. Yeah, we can recognize so clear about the liver, our kidney, our bones, and in all plants. Yeah, we have axial plant, we have coronal plants, and we also have the sagittal plant. Wow, that's the background. And before going to details of technical aspect and how we run the city, I think I would dissect some terms or abbreviations in this area that usually appear around us but may cause you confused if you don't have any comprehensive education. On the right side of the slide here is a various way we can write the computer tomography name. Why? Because in early days of city era, city wasn't named city at all. It's simple. It was called, of course, by our great father of city, Sir Godfrey Hounsfield. It was called CAT, CAT, and this represented for computed axial tomography. However, over time, the city reconstructive algorithm. Ah, just let me explain in detail about this because at this time, city was only can view at one plane, and that was the axial plane. And over time, city reconstructive algorithm, just like I say before, allow them to display not only the axial view but also all other views of our organs, about the coronal, the sagittal, and even the oblique view. And that's the reason why the term CAT scan being shortened into CT scan, you can see now. But, always but, as an exceptional, if there is any existence of the term CAT scan here, from scientific journals nowadays. It may represent for the complete term computer-assisted tomography. Yeah, and it's also right, my friend. It's also right in this modern days. And besides, on the left side of this slide, for someone whose curiosity just couldn't let your mind peace, the word tomography here, the word tomography was inspired by the word tomos in Greek. The tomos means a section, a part of, a cutting. So if someone want to have some more detailed meaning about this computer tomography term, I can translate it to you. It maybe can describe as an image of a cutting whose creation is supported by a computer. Yeah, that's my theory, but I think it's okay too. And yeah, and I just talk about the beginning of the city era. And that's just the first half of the story. The world here. Then came the heat. The world then had a full awareness of city potential and jumped into action. That leads us to many terms that even though have the same implication but with different expression. Let me just introduce you some famous vendor you can see in the city market. GE Healthcare, Seisman, Healthineers, the Canon, or the Fujifilm. And on the top we have the term continuous acquisition scanning. And the people Seisman call it spiral mode or spiral scanning. GE call it the helical mode, and Toshiba call it isotropic mode. And the second one here is the preliminary image. The image we need to take before we apply our protocol of scanning. And the Seisman call it a topogram. GE call it a scale image. Yeah, familiar. So familiar to radiologists, right? And the Toshiba call it scanogram. Well, as you may recognize, sometimes the trade name is the name of the vendors. Yeah, the trade name is more widespread than the original name. For example, in high school, I just heard about this helical mode and spiral mode instead of in continuous acquisition scanning. And in college, the scale image um, appears appear in my books so often than a preliminary image. Yeah, and there were there are so many other words or the abbreviation we need to learn throughout the series. But don't worry, I'll keep updating those information for you in the later slides on the later sections. Well, we're coming to the last part of the series, this video. The last part in terminology section is about the criteria. Here is about the criteria that people use to determine if the image quality of your city system is qualified or not. Yeah, and you will meet these criteria all the time in future. So focus, my friend, focus to the following terms. The first one is the high contrast resolution. People prefer spatial resolution. The second one is the low contrast resolution. And the last one, I hope that you can remember, is the temporal resolution. So what are they? Let me let me give you some explanation. The spatial resolution, yeah, tell us about whether our system have the ability to identify two subsequent objects. So, in other words, you can say the smaller distance between objects that our machine can detect, the smaller spatial resolution number outcome. And what is the outcome? I explain to you later. Yeah, let me repeat that. The smaller distance between objects that our machine can detect, the smaller spatial resolution outcome. And we call it our system has high spatial resolution. Yeah, don't make it wrong, my friend. Don't make it wrong. So let me show you the spatial resolution usually is measured by the phantom. This is the figure of the phantom. The phantom is the kind of experimental object which is used to determine some characteristic of our system, spatial resolution or low contrast resolution. Well, and the spatial resolution is expressed by the unit of light pace per millimeters or just maybe millimeter alone, and they can interchangeably converted. Well, you can see right here, we can distinguish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 several light pairs on the image here. And that's the reason behind the unit light pairs per millimeters or maybe just millimeter alone. The second one, low contrast resolution, is the potential of CT to distinguish two objects with similar densities. Yeah, you hear that? The low contrast resolution is also determined by the phantom too. This is the figure of the low contrast resolution phantom, and display a vital role in clinical application where there are so many different structures implied in just only one image slice. Yeah, let's roll back into this image. You can see that we can tell something about this image. This image absolutely has high resolution in all two kind of resolution. First one is spatial resolution. Yeah, we can see the boundary between tissues, between organs, and it also has high low contrast resolution because we can recognize the different color between tissue, between organs, between parts, our bone, our liver, our kidney. Yeah, and that is the low contrast resolution. And the last one, The last one you may barely heard about, the temporal resolution. Here. The temporal resolution is the characteristic of our system to resolve the fast-moving object and is comparable to shutter speed of the camera. Sometimes to easily understand by my student, I call it the ability to catch the move. Let me take some note about it. Catch the movement. Yeah. Okay. The reason why you don't hear about it really often, but this term because this technical aspect plays no role in imaging body structure have minimal or no motion. Yeah, because you catch the movement and with a body part that have no motion, yeah, it plays no role. But with the imaging technique requiring the ability to catch the movement, yeah, like cardiac imaging. Let me take a note. Cardiac imaging. The game is changed, my friend. The game is changed. The picture you see right here is the technique so-called cardiac gating, which based on our ECG to have the best quality and consistent between images. Yeah, the cardiac gating based on our electrocardiogram to trigger the scan at the moment. Well, you can see that people have proposed several techniques to reach one ultimate goal, increasing CT system temporal resolution. On the first image, yeah, we can see it. The tube rotates about a half circle to reach the 150 milliseconds temporal resolution. But on the second option, the tube just rotates about a quarter of the circle to reach 75 milliseconds temporal resolution, but it depends on our ECG to take the other measure at the other heartbeat. And the last one is the technique that use two tube. Yeah, that use two tube to have only one measure at one time to get a 75 millisecond temporal resolution. Well, unfortunately, this knowledge is out of our topic today, but we'll talk about it later in a beautiful day. I promise. And so this is the end of our first meeting and our first discussion about city. So I'm very happy because of your watching, and I feel very grateful. I hope you will have good time with your family, and maybe just few days later, will we meet again? Thank you and good night.